Hello, welcome to NAFDAC and Your Health. My name is Amanda Ugo. I am your host. Here, we bring you up to date with NAFDAC's activities with regards to its mandate of safeguarding the health of the nation. The activities of the National Agency for Food and Drugs Administration and Control, NAFDAC, at safeguarding the health of the Nigerian people has increased exponentially since the assumption of office of Professor Mojisola Adeyeye as the Director-General of the agency in the year 2017. Chief among the steps taken by the DG on assumption of office was to make the agency align to global practices as an integral part of the community of regulatory agencies across the globe. This has seen the agency imbibing quality system and culture more than it hitherto did and adhering more to global regulatory principles. A giant stride taken further in this direction was a journey towards global benchmarking. The agency recorded a huge success in the bid by attaining maturity level 3. One of the challenges the agency has faced is the havoc being wreaked by malaria, particularly among children. The impact of malaria has been so much because of the unavailability of trusted, potent vaccines to tackle it. It was, however, gladdening when the Director-General of NAFDAC, Professor Mojisola Adeyeye, during a press conference in Abuja on Monday, 17th April 2023, announced the regulatory approval of R21 Malaria vaccine.
This gathering this morning, very important for us in NAFDAC and very important for Nigeria. The gathering is about the regulatory approval of R21 Malaria vaccine that NAFDAC just gave to the market authorization holder and indeed to the manufacturers. That is why it is extremely important that we gather this morning. COVID-related disruptions led to about 13 million more malaria cases and 63,000 more malaria deaths. Africa was home to about 95% of all malaria cases and 96% of deaths. Children under 5 years of age accounted for about 80% of all malaria deaths in the region. 4 African countries accounted for just over half of all malaria deaths worldwide, Nigeria being the highest, 31%. The Democratic Republic of Congo, 12.6%, and United Republic of Tanzania, 4%, and Niger, 3.9%. So you can imagine, out of 4 countries, Nigeria has the highest, 31.3%, with 96% of the population at risk of malaria. The duration of the transmission season ranges from year-round transmission in the south to 3 months or less in the north. According to the 2021 World Malaria Report, Nigeria had the highest number of global malaria cases, 27%, and the highest number of deaths, like I mentioned, 31.something%. The country accounted for an estimated 55.2% of malaria cases in West Africa. So the prevalence is about 55% among the 15 countries in West Africa. The prevalence of malaria parasitemia in children under 5 years of age was 23%, although there are significant regional, rural, urban, and socio-economic differences. Prevalence ranges from 16% in the south and southeast zones to 34% in the northwest. In rural populations, prevalence is 2.4 times more than the urban population. Compared to the highest socio-economic group, prevalence among children in the lowest socio-economic group is 7 times higher, 38% versus 6% in the affluent population.
The NAFDAC DG gave assurance on the potency of the R21 malaria vaccine to tackle the endemic impact of malaria on children.
Apart from the WHO global benchmarking rating of the maturity level 3 that allows NAFDAC to give regulatory approval on the R21 malaria vaccine, the agency is also empowered by the Nigerian law to do so.
NAFDAC, in exercising its mandate, is stipulated by its enabling law, Cap M1 2004, to grant registration approval, and is granting registration approval for R21 malaria vaccine, recombinant adjuvanted, that was manufactured by Serum Institute of India, and the market authorization holder in Nigeria is Fitsin Healthcare Limited. The R21 malaria vaccine is an adjuvanted protein vaccine presented as a sterile solution. A dose, which is 0.5 ml or 60, is composed of R21 malaria antigen 5 micrograms and the matrix M1 50 micrograms as an adjuvant filled in a vial that is ready to use for intramuscular injection. The vaccine is indicated for prevention of clinical malaria in children from 5 months to 36 months of age. That was why I was underscoring the prevalence among children. The vaccine is indicated for prevention of clinical malaria in children from 5 months to 36 months. The storage temperature of the vaccine is 2 to 8 degrees centigrade. NAFDAC has several pathways for registration of vaccines. These pathways are in line with the agency's guideline for registration of imported drugs, vaccines, and medical devices under collaborative registration procedure, or the agency's guideline for registration of imported drugs and vaccines. The R21 malaria vaccine was reviewed using the full review pathway of NAFDAC. What does it entail in terms of the review of the application? Of course, the application comes with the dossier. For the dossier review, NAFDAC received that dossier of the R21 malaria manufactured by Serum Institute, and the dossier was subjected to independent review at 2 levels. As a mature regulatory agency, it is expected as part of global benchmarking that external advisory committee is in place to advise upon invitation on certain functions of the agency. As a new biological molecule that is being given consideration for full registration, the independent review by an external body becomes imperative as a means to further safeguard public health. The external advisory body, which is called NAFDAC's Vaccine Advisory Committee, NEVAC, is made up of 4 highly recognized, well-published experts from Nigeria's tertiary institutions, namely Nnamdi Azikiwe University in Awka and in Anambra State, University of Lagos, Lagos State, University of Ibadan, Oyo State, and Osman Dan Fodio University, Sokoto, in Sokoto State. This external advisory body spent 5 whole days in a retreat to pore over the dossier and to rigorously review it, independent of the in-house NAFDAC's vaccine committee. Independent of the NAFDAC vaccine review committee. Our review committee, meaning NAFDAC's review committee, is a multidisciplinary group extracted from the following NAFDAC directorates: Drug Registration and Regulatory Affairs, Vaccines, Biologics, Medical Devices, Drug Evaluation and Research for Clinical Trial and Good Manufacturing Practices Inputs, Pharmacovigilance, Post-Marketing Surveillance, Central Drug Laboratory, and Port Inspection. So you have about 6 directorates with varied disciplines that were involved in the in-house review of this vaccine. Essentially, the dossier was reviewed by NAFDAC, like I mentioned, independently, using standards of WHO across the relevant domains, in addition to the International Council on Harmonization Guidelines, or ICH guidelines, European Medicine Agency guidelines where appropriate, scientific rigor on the vaccine and context of malaria generally and specifically to Nigeria, and also that included best research and manufacturing governance. NAFDAC members reviewed all sections independently, like I mentioned, using best review practices, and met physically in plenary to assess and debate the reviews by sections, raised queries, and made recommendations accordingly. Overall, the assessment by NAFDAC was scored as adequate, that is, fully compliant with standards.
Upon submission of the reports of the 2 committees to the Director-General, a joint session of the 2 committees was held, during which the Director-General gave room for the harmonization of the assessments. Recommendations, queries, and clarifications were consolidated and forwarded to the manufacturer, Serum Institute of India, and Fitson Healthcare Limited, the market authorization holder in Nigeria.
Overall, the R21 malaria vaccine dossier complied substantially with best international standards, with which the dossier was benchmarked, as mentioned above. It was also adjudged that the vaccine's known potential benefits outweigh the risks, thereby supporting the manufacturer's recommended use. Specific instances where queries, clarification, or additional data were required have been duly compiled and sent. These queries, clarification did not affect the overall adequacy of the dossier. The Joint Review Committee recognized the importance of an effective malaria vaccine that has 75% protection as an additional interventional tool, as a critical need in Nigeria that has the highest malaria burden.
The Director-General of NAFDAC once again seized the opportunity to reiterate the agency's commitment to safeguarding the health of Nigerians.
NAFDAC remains committed in ensuring that only products that are safe, that are of high quality and efficacious are made available for Nigerians. Thank you so much, and God bless.
NAFDAC and your health will be back shortly. Please stay with us.
No way. I'm never taking vaccines again or giving it to my child. My head aches. My child is That would have been me if I did not know better that reactions after vaccination are called adverse events following immunizations, AEFI. And it is normal. In fact, it often indicates that the vaccines are working effectively. Yes, every individual reacts differently. It can be serious or non-serious. such as fever, fatigue, headache, dizziness, pain, swelling at injection site, rashes, etc. So don't be scared about taking vaccines. All vaccines are certified by WHO and approved by NAFDAC. The benefit of vaccination far outweighs the adverse events that could follow. To report any adverse events, visit the health center where you receive the vaccine or one nearest to you, or call the phone number on your vaccination card. You can also report AEFI using the MedSafety app. Vaccines are free, safe, and effective. Get vaccinated today. This message is from the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, NPHCDA, and the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC. For further inquiries, visit www.nphcda.gov.ng or call 7722.
Welcome. You are watching NAFDAC and Your Health.
As NAFDAC continues to bask in the euphoria of its latest achievement, the agency is not oblivious of the experiences and challenges that triggered the burning desire to continually increase efforts to ward off all forms of risks that threaten the healthy living of the Nigerian people. And also along the line, earn Nigerian a top position on the global scene as far as the issue of health is concerned.
WHO came and looked at our functions. This was since 2018, February, that we have been improving and improving and improving. We are not there yet, but they have standards. We met the standards, that's why we got ML3. But that is the beginning. How do you sustain ML3? In 3 years, or less than 3 years now, they're going to come back and say, okay, you did this 2022, what are you doing now in 2025 or 6 or whatever? We are going to ML4. We are going to specialist class, what is called World Listed Authority. I've given an example before as a pharmacist 40-something years ago, working in a Baptist hospital. When the missionaries are going on holidays, they buy medicines from Nigeria. I came back almost 40 years after. Things changed. We're not just making medicine just only for, of course, it's centrally quality and health of our people. But we are also supposed to be trading. We are supposed to be trading. Our manufacturers are supposed to be trading. If we make it for ourselves, and we have capacity to make for West Africa, we have capacity to make for Africa, why can't we trade? But if you don't have quality, you cannot trade. That is where we are going. When we get ML4 and the specialist class, our manufacturers can sell their products globally through what we call collaborative registration. Meaning, oh, NAFDAC is ML4 with some special areas that they are very, very good at. And company X wants to sell product B in our country overseas, now outside Nigeria. Instead of taking company X to sell product B, 3 years to submit the application to that country overseas, it may take 3 months. Because that country overseas will ask us to send what we use to approve company X for that particular product to them. They will look at it and do expedited approval.
NAFDAC is very much resolute about attaining the maturity level 4 on the next visit of the WHO team. And indeed, the agency is bracing up by upgrading its infrastructures and facilities to meet the required recommendations.
The WHO initial audit team informed us that the space we have here is very small. The present laboratory, the spatial need is so small compared with the volume of testing activities that is being carried out here. So federal government is magnanimous to approve the expansion project of building more laboratory units for the Central Drug Control Laboratory. As you can see behind me, the physical structure of the building is, we say, about 90 to 95% complete. What we are waiting for now, before we move in, is there are still some special features that are being installed inside the unit laboratories, which are going to aid commencement of testing activities in the laboratory. But with this building and the other facilities that are expected to be constructed with the laboratory, we are done with virtually 90%, 95% of what is necessary. You can see behind me we have the building, the air conditioners are installed, toilet facilities are there, the water drainage system is there. We have a brand new generator came along with it, with the building, and it's been installed. What we have left now, that's the special features I'm talking about, is what we call the installation of the local area network for internet and other IT support system for the laboratory. Cabling is being done now, and as soon as that one is done and other features are completed, we are hopeful that we can move into the laboratory in the next 1 month.
We will be stopping here for today. Join us again, same time, same station next week for another informative package. If you have comments, complaints, or you'd like to report any activity of fake drugs or adulterated food products, we are always accessible.
You can reach NAFDAC via toll-free numbers. For inquiries, call 0700 162 3322. For complaints, call 0800 162 3322. You may also email NAFDAC at nafdac.gov.ng. If you have complaints about any form of misconduct, you can reach the Reforms Unit via email reforms@nafdac.gov.ng or call the Reforms hotlines on 0909 763 0506 or 0909 763 0507. NAFDAC, customer focused, agency minded.
Importing, producing, distributing, and selling of fake drugs, cosmetics, and adulterated food products are criminal offenses and can destroy lives. Let us join hands in the fight against these heinous crimes by reporting any activity of fake drugs or adulterated food products in your area to NAFDAC. Till we meet again next week, stay safe.